Hello everyone. So in this video I'm going to talk about things to do in your first year of engineering college as a CSE student, CSE or IT student. So these are the 5 points that I will be talking about, but in this video I'll be talking about the first point only because that I think is the most important point to be understood as a first year engineering student, be it CSE, computer science or information technology. So yeah, the first point is coding. Learn any one language first thoroughly. If you have just entered into an engineering college, or if you are if you are planning to do engineering in future, this video is going to help you understand what you should be doing immediately after taking admission into a college, or if you have time, you can also follow these suggestions before joining a college also. So it depends on you, but this is definitely, I think these things you should definitely start doing as soon as you enter into a college. When I got admitted to my engineering college, I had no idea, I had no clue what to do, what all things are there, what are the scope, what all types of jobs are there, what do I have to study, what should I not study. There were various types of confusions that I had when I was in engineering college. That's why I thought that there should be some video about this where uh, these information should be shared. So when you enter into a college, there are various things which are being taught by the college. So in these videos I'll mainly be talking about the things that you should keep learning, or you should start learning on your own. You should not depend on your college for the knowledge, or you should not wait for the college to teach you that particular topic. You should start learning on your own, because there are so many online material on the internet. You just have to go and learn. But the thing that is important is you should have an idea of what should be learned and what should not be learned, and how something should be learned. So the first thing is coding. If you have joined computer science branch, then you must, it is very important that you should have a very good knowledge of coding. And if you are actually interested in becoming a software developer, getting a software developer job after your college, then you should learn any one language. You should learn coding, and you should start learning coding from the first year only, because if you start learning it from the first year, you will have enough time to hone your skill and to be better, and to be a better programmer when you pass out. And if you are a better programmer, you will be able, it will be very easy for you to get a job, get a really good high paying job. So there are various different types of programming, different programming languages which are there. So my suggestion would be just pick one language, any language, be it C, C++, Java, JavaScript, Python, Go, etc. So just pick any language and try to stick with that particular language for at least an year. Let's say if you have just entered your college, then let's say you have let's say you picked Java in your first year. So at least try to stick with Java for at least an year, so that and just explore all the various features that Java has, and try and implement those features, understand those features, basically have an in-depth understanding of that particular language, in-depth knowledge of the various things of one language, because that is very important. Just learning the semantics and syntax of a language is not necessary, and it is actually not helpful when you pass your engineering degree and you go to the industry to find a job, you will not be able to get a job just because you know the syntax of a language. You should have a very in-depth knowledge of one language. Then it will be very easy for you to find a job. Now, as far as picking any of the language is concerned, you can pick any language which you like. As far as jobs is concerned, there are jobs in C language, there are jobs in C++ language, there are jobs in Java language, and similarly there are jobs in other languages as well. It's not that if you are a C programmer or if you know only C language, you won't be able to get job. That is a myth. That is not a reality, because there are companies which are working on either of the language, or there are some companies where which are working on multiple languages, which are using one language for one project and other language for other projects. So getting a job in a particular language is not an issue. But the issue is people generally don't get an in-depth understanding of one language and switch to a different language. Like when I was in college, I studied C language for around 6 months, and then I switched to C++. Then I learned C++ for around 2 3 months, and then I switched to Java, and so on. I never learned any language in depth during my college time, and that was, I think, the most, it was actually a mistake that I made. It was a big mistake that I made, which now I realize after working for around 5 years in IT industry. I now realize that if in my first year only, if I had picked up any language, any one language, and if I had learned that particular language only for my 4 years, I would have understood, I would have gathered so many knowledge for that particular language. So this is what my suggestion is, that you should pick one language, start exploring all the features of that language, and start exploring in depth. Have an in-depth understanding of that language. In an ideal case, I would suggest that you just pick one language and continue exploring that particular language only for the complete 4 years. In your college, you will be, in your college syllabus, they will teach you multiple languages, but that is not an issue. If you are doing any projects on your own, or if you are doing any, uh, or if you are solving any problems on any of the coding websites, or if you are doing anything on your own, so you should always stick to one language. There you should explore and just gather the knowledge of a single particular programming language, because programming language is just a medium to communicate to a computer. That's it. That is the main, that is the primary objective of a language. It's just a medium of communication. For example, like any spoken language like English or Hindi. So English or Hindi or any other language is just a medium to communicate your thoughts to the other person. So similarly, we have in the field of computers, we have different languages like C, C++, Java. But other than that, there is one more point. Every language has some specific domain where that is most appropriate. For example, if you are building enterprise level software, in that case, most of the enterprise applications are built in Java, because it has various features which help building a big enterprise level application. Similarly, if you are doing something in machine learning, in the field of machine learning and or artificial intelligence, so there are various machine learning libraries written in Python. So Python is mainly preferred for that. Similarly, if you have to write some libraries which will directly interact with the hardware of a computer, then most of the companies prefer C language, because there are libraries written in C language with the help of which we can directly interact to the hardware of a computer. Every language is appropriate to a particular domain also. That is also something which is which should be understood. So these things you can just Google it out. You can just understand what language is most appropriately used for which purpose. Like I just told you about C, Java, Python. So similarly, there are some other domain specific things being done in JavaScript and Go and C++ also. Like C++, I'll give you one example. C++ is a language which is very fast. I mean, if you have to write some services which has to be very efficient and very fast and very less memory, if you have to do it in with very less memory, then you should go with developing that particular service using C++, because in C++ you do your memory management on your own in C and C++. But in Java, the memory management, I mean, the programmer doesn't have to care about the memory management. It is all being handled by the JVM, the garbage collector. So mostly it is being said that, and it actually happens also that, I mean, Java applications consume more memory than C++ applications if C++ applications are written in a smart way. I mean, a programmer can directly optimize its memory consumption in C and C++. So that is one aspect of using C and C++. So similarly, there are other things which should be taken care of uh, while picking a language for a particular purpose. So you can also decide on that. If you want to become a network engineer, if you want to write some system drivers, then you should start learning C language, because most of the system hardware drivers, I mean software drivers, are being written in C. Similarly, if you want to get into enterprise level application development and backend services, then you should learn Java. If you want to work with web applications, if you want to become a web developer, I mean the backend web developer, then you should learn JavaScript. Similarly, if you want to get into artificial intelligence, you should learn Python. And you should prefer Python, because Python is mainly used. I mean, Python already has so many libraries for artificial intelligence support, which supports artificial intelligence. Whichever language you choose, you just choose one language in your first year only, and I would suggest that you just stick to that language for the entire 4 year and keep exploring the features of that language, because it will help you a lot. So after 4 years you will be able to gather, because 4 year is a good amount of time. So in that 4 years you can gather really good amount of knowledge for a particular language. And companies mostly look for experts, I mean people who have very good understanding of a particular language, because when a company hires, they mainly hire for us for some particular projects. They have their requirements. So let's say a company who is working on Java, and they are looking for Java developers, so they will mainly look for people who have a very good understanding of Java language, apart from other skills like data structures, algorithm. But understanding of Java should also be very good and very in-depth. So that is first thing. I hope it's clear to you people. And in the first year of engineering, it you may not be able to understand the importance of this first point, but I have been in your situation. I mean, 5 years, not exactly. 9 years back, I was in first year of engineering college, 9 or 10 years back, and right now I am working in a company, in a product-based IT company. So in these 9 years, I have learned something, and I'm telling you this thing from my experience only. I hope it will help you. I hope after you are done with the engineering, you will feel the benefit of sticking to a particular language. This is all I wanted to talk about the first point. To keep the video short, I'll cover the next points in my next upcoming videos. Till then, if you have any questions related to this particular first point, you can ask your questions in the comment section. I will try to answer all the questions, and if possible, I can also conduct a one-on-one session with with you people, because my intention is just to help the people, the students of first year of engineering college, to gather knowledge and to help them with their uh, studies. That's it. I hope I'm clear with the points that I have explained in this video. See you in next video. Have a nice day. Bye bye. And yeah, thank you for watching.